Good morning.
Good morning.
We're going to have translation today or what? No? No translation? All in English? I thank you all for coming. Really. Some of your faces are very familiar, some of them are new to me, so welcome to our embassy. Well, today, ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you at a very decisive moment, where 153 international countries stood with international law and have recognized the state of Palestine. Meanwhile, unfortunately, the Prime Minister Netanyahu, with his radical government, continues its accelerating genocide in Gaza while expanding illegal settlements in the West Bank and East Jerusalem. These actions are not isolated. They are systematic campaign of ethnic cleansing and annexation. They destroy the very possibility of a two-state solution. Even Israel's own leaders admit their intentions clearly. Ministers openly call for the conquest of Gaza and the West Bank and force the displacement of the Palestinians. Even the finance minister of Israel, Smotrich, has described Gaza as a real bonanza, a real gift, while Prime Minister Netanyahu has declared his commitment to a greater Israel. You know, we all saw Prime Minister at the United Nations last year when he said, "This is the new Middle East." And everybody took it that the new Middle East is this. But today he's saying the greater Israel is this. That means expansion all the way to all the Arab countries, all the way from the Mediterranean to the Gulf, the Persian Gulf, all to the Arab Gulf. This is what Netanyahu said last year, and nobody took any moment to think about it. But now he has declared this is the new Israel. He doesn't want a two-state solution. He doesn't want peace. And he's saying it to the international community. This is nothing less than expansionism at the expense of the international law and regional stability. This Israeli leadership today is an international, unfortunately, pariah. Let me be clear. The government does not represent all Israelis. We honor and we respect those who say, Israelis who say loudly, not in our name, because they want peace, and we want peace. Meanwhile, the United States, unfortunately, shields the government of Israel from accountability, eroding its own credibility and the rule-based international order. As long as Washington provides protection to Israel, Israel have no incentive to respect international law. We must be clear. Sanctions have been imposed on other countries for far less reasons. Why should Israel be an exception? Accountability cannot be selective anymore. The recognition of the state of Palestine is not a concession. It's a binding obligation under international law. It's our inalienable rights of the Palestinian people. People have long and it's overdue. The European Union, the United Nations, and Japan have clearly said, if Israel blocks the two-state solution, recognition must follow. And that was in the last statement of the Foreign Minister of Japan and the Prime Minister of Japan. But at this moment, here, Britain, Australia, Canada, Portugal already recognize the state of Palestine. And others will join today in this historical movement for justice for all Palestinians. I wonder why others delay. Every day of delaying, it enriches the Israelis. It gives them space to do whatever they continue on what they're doing. Genocide, ethnic cleansing, famine in Gaza, and forced displacement of Palestinians in the West Bank and East Jerusalem. Unfortunately today, ladies and gentlemen, Gaza, 75% of Gaza has completely been erased. And it continues to be erased while the world is watching. Gaza today is a city of ghosts. Gaza today is the largest graveyard in modern history. Nearly 1/5 of the population has been killed, injured, missing, or in jails. And millions on a daily basis are forcibly displaced. Famine have been confirmed by the United Nations and other international organizations, yet Israel denies it. I think Israel has believed in its own lies. Families are still starving by the Israeli military occupation. And still the illegal colonialism expansions continues in East Jerusalem. Just yesterday, they have forced many families in East Jerusalem to leave Jerusalem and take their homes, and also in the West Bank. Governance is not the obstacle to sovereignty. The obstacle is, and continues to be, Israel aggression, Israel military occupation of Palestinian territories. And on behalf of the Palestinian people, I really extend my gratitude to the Japanese government and the people of Japan for standing for Palestine, standing for the rights of the Palestinians, and strongly condemning Israel's ground operation in Gaza City and the illegal settlements in the West Bank and East Jerusalem. And Japan has a long record of peace, dignity, and humanity. But gratitude, unfortunately, is not enough. Today, we appeal directly to the government and the people of Japan. Stand with the victims. Stand with the victims, not the culprit. Recognize Palestine now. The time is now. Stand with the victims, not the perpetrators. Stand with international law, not with its violators. Stand with the future and not with the past. Recognition of Palestine cannot wait, because justice cannot wait, and peace cannot wait. The world is watching, and history is recording. The state of Palestine already exists, recognized by overwhelming majority of nations, enriched in international law, and anchored in justice. Those who delay recognition are called upon to join justice, to join the rule of law. Palestine is today the front line. But tomorrow, as Netanyahu himself has said, it will be Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, and beyond. Expansionism is not a theory anymore. It is in his own words. You know, the word the world cannot remain silent anymore. To defend international law and global stability, action is needed now. A state committing genocide while hiding uninspected nuclear weapons is a threat to us all. Justice for Palestine is a global security before Israel's reckless leadership drags us into a wider war, an unknown future for humanity. Thank you very much. You can ask questions.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you.
Yeah, I disappoint the decision of Japanese government because I visited Jenin this January. I watched directly the destruction by Israel army. So, how has your perspective towards the Japanese government as well as Japanese people changed? This is my first question.
Thank you. I do believe, and I have seen it everywhere around Japan, the people of Japan has supported the Palestinians. We can see them in the streets from the north to the south, to the east to the west. That by itself is a full support for the Palestinians. As for the government, I understand that the Japanese government is under pressure for recognizing the Palestinian state. But unfortunately, history is recording right now. This is a historical moment. My mission to Japan was to do my best to get Japan to recognize the state of Palestine. And I do still believe that Japan will recognize the state of Palestine very soon. Because always Japan has supported the Palestinian cause, has recognized our rights to inalienable rights, has recognized the two-state solution, and has recognized that peace in the region should be done. Good. Second question.
Thank you. Today, the world is becoming increasingly divided between China and Russia on one side, and the US and Europe on the other. As a state, what kind of alliance is Palestine seeking, or what kind of world order is it envisioning future?
First, our leadership headed by President Abbas has always repeatedly said that he wants peace. He wants to accomplish a two-state solution. He wants peace with Israel. And we have no quarrel with any country in the world. But Israel should end its military occupation of East Jerusalem and the West Bank and Gaza. Not only our leadership, but all the Arab leaderships and Islamic leadership has continued said, especially in 2002 and ongoing, that if Israel respects the international law, respects the United Nations resolutions, and withdraws to 1967 borders, all Arab Islamic countries will sign peace with Israel. It's been on the table since 2002. And today we see that the Israeli leadership, unfortunately, has not complied, does not want peace anymore. He wants to expand to the West Bank, to Lebanon, to Syria, to Iraq, all the way up, as I said before previously, the Greater Israel. It's time for the international community to stop that, to really stop his aggression. Because it's not danger only for the Palestinians anymore. It's not dangerous for the region. It's danger for the world. Let's not forget that if he expands, if he has the plans to expand to the all Arab countries, to the whole region and control it, he may control the whole world. This is what he wants. So it has to be stopped. Like I said, the international community is responsible for accountability of Israel. Israel is committing genocide. The ICC, the ICJ, the United Nations, European Union, Japan, and all the countries has said that Israel is committing genocide. But still, So we need really a strong move by the international community. Is boycott, punish Israel, stop sending weapons, stop buying things from it, products from it, you know. And Israel has to comply sooner or later. You cannot keep that country as a rogue country anymore. And then bringing up Hamas and Hamas and Hamas. I want to say that. Always Israelis, everywhere they go, we are fighting Hamas. 75% of Gaza has been erased. Over 200,000 Palestinians, that's only 10% or more than 10%, have been killed, injured, missing, and all that. Are they really fighting Hamas? If you look at the social media, which the Israeli soldiers are putting, killing children, women, blowing up schools, universities, whole buildings. I mean, now they're attacking all the high rises. Is that really fighting Hamas? Well, let's go back to history. Wasn't Netanyahu government that allowed money and allowed the leadership of Hamas to come to Gaza? Wasn't he allowing for 17 years money to come into Hamas? Because he wanted to support the separation of the Palestinians, the vision of the Palestinians. And now he's saying he's fighting Hamas. Come on. I mean, let's be logic. He is not fighting Hamas. He is fighting the Palestinian people. If he's fighting the Hamas, why is he pushing all the Palestinians to the south? He wants to push them out of their land. Why is his government saying this is a bonus land, we're going to make our resorts in it? Why is his government saying we want to kick everybody from the West Bank and East Jerusalem? Is that fighting Hamas? No. I can say it. He is fighting the Palestinian people. He is trying to exterminate the Palestinian people. But I have something for him. He will never do it because we Palestinians are resilient. This is our land. This is our right. And we will resist to the last person in our land, on our land. Please.
ありがとうございます。
Please.
Hello.
Hello.
This is Asako Hanafusa from the Asahi Shimbun.
Yes.
I have two questions.
Well,
And the first one, as you said, Japanese government delayed the recognition of Palestinian state. And in the future, if Japan eventually decides to recognize your country, what would it be meaning to your Palestinian or Palestinian people?
From my personal experience, when we were young in school, we were taught about Japan. How Japan suffered from the 2 atomic bombs in Hiroshima, Nagasaki. How the Allies destroyed Japan. How there were famine in Japan. But Japan stood high and strong and rebuilt Japan. This is what we were taught about Japan. So Japan is a model for us, that it went through all this suffering and came up to be a very powerful country economically and politically around the world. And we expect from Japan the same way to treat us, because we are going through the same things that they went through, we are going through right now in Gaza. You know, we can say over 90,000 tons of bombs have fallen on Gaza. This is equivalent to maybe 6 to 7 to 8, some people are saying 8 atomic bombs. Gaza is being hit by the most sophisticated weapons and bombs in history. Russia is not even using it, or Ukraine is not even using it. But Israel is using it on civilians, not on an army, not on a country that has its own army and airplanes and tanks and all that. No, it's using it on unarmed Palestinian civilians, women, children, and men. It's using it on hospitals, on schools, on camps, on refugee camps. They're burning them alive. Newborns are dying in the hospitals. So we look for Japan to stand up with justice, stand up with the Palestinians. because that's the only way Japan we have been learned about. And that's the only way Japan will know.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The second one.
Sure.
What do you expect world leaders attending to the international conference about two-state solution in this week in New York?
Well, unfortunately, it was overdue. You know, 1917 is where Balfour Declaration that gave the Israelis our country. But in the same thing, he said there was an Arab, there's Palestinians. And then the British mandate came for a two-state solution. They were sent there to create a two states. But they created a one state. And they created the most aggressive military occupation in modern history, which is Israel today. Now I think the international community recognizes that Israel is a rogue country. Israel has no respect to international law. Israel has no respect for humanity, because they say that the IOF, which is the Israeli occupation forces, it's not the IDF, it's the IOF, Israeli occupation forces, are committing genocide, are committing ethnic cleansing on social media. So I think the world has waken up to take a strong stand against this rogue country headed by the war criminal Netanyahu and his government.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I'm Kiri Mira from Asahi Television, and the first question is, could you share what diplomatic efforts Palestine has and is undertaking to encourage Japan to consider recognition of a Palestinian state?
Sure. We have sent, the President Abbas have sent the letters to all countries, including Japan. Actually, about 2 days ago, the Prime Minister of Japan has received it. I'll just give you just a summary. That the state of Palestine is committed to one state, one government, one law, one legitimate gun. Hamas will no longer govern Gaza. Its weapons will be surrendered to the Palestinian security forces. 2. We are ready to assume full responsibility of governance and security, including control of Gaza borders crossings, in coordination with Arab and international support. 3. We are committed to a comprehensive ceasefire, to free and fair elections within 1 year, and to reform its governance, transparency, and accountability. 4. We reject terrorism. We condemn all attacks on civilians, and we reaffirm our recognition of Israel, as the PLO did more than 30 years ago. Yet Israel has not recognized the Palestinians. No one can claim that the governance is the barrier. The only barrier is Israeli occupation and the refusal of some to recognize Palestine's right to exist. Those are some of the letter of guarantee that we have sent to all countries around the world. And many of those countries accepted this letter, and upon that they decided to recognize the state of Palestine. Good?
Okay, I'm sorry, for the second question, forgive me if this was another distasteful question, but in response to several nations such as the United Kingdom and Australia recognizing the Palestinian state, President Netanyahu of Israel has stated such recognition is an act of gift-giving to Hamas. And how would you respond to such statement?
Using Hamas as an excuse is lame anymore. I think Netanyahu is living in a la-la land. He's in a different reality of the world. The recognition of the state of Palestine is the inalienable rights of all Palestinians. It's not a gift to Hamas. It's a gift. It's not even a gift. It's the rights of the Palestinians to exist. So to come and say, using Hamas, like I said previously, is always using Hamas, Hamas, Hamas. It looks like Hamas is the most powerful army in the world, or the most powerful entity in this world that he supported for 17 years. His government supported them for 17 years. And now he says that Hamas, what is Hamas? Hamas is finished. Hamas is going to give up its weapons. Hamas is not going to be no longer part of this military existence in Gaza or in anywhere on the Palestinian territories. Hamas should return as a political party if they want to join the Palestinian state. If not, then there is no space for them in our society. Please.
Excuse me, follow-up question. It's been 2 years since the Hamas and Israel war started. Do you think it's late for European countries or Canada or Australia to finally decide recognition of Palestinian state?
Hamas, but let's look at what Israel has been doing since 1947. Let's look at the massacres that at that time there was no internet and no TV and no news to write down about Deir Yassin massacre. Did not talk about what's it, Terry?
Sabra Shatila.
It's before Sabra Shatila. Many massacres in Palestine. Over 520 towns and villages were completely destroyed. My village still stands, which is Lifta today, and we're fighting in the courts of Israel to continue to keep it because it's one of the oldest Canaan villages. They want to erase our history and make a new history for them. And let's go continue. 1967, what they did also. Over 900,000 people were forced out in 1948. Over 600,000 were forced in 1967. Let me tell you something. A man that works hard and builds his home, builds his beautiful garden, sits in his garden enjoying life, and one Israeli comes from somewhere, takes that house and lives in it. In what logic is that? In what logic is that? You come and take a house, you know, completely built and furniture with the bank accounts also that. In what logic is that? This is what happened in 1947-48. Illegal, running away refugees from Europe came to Palestine, took over with the British help at that time. Let's go also in the 70s and 80s. Israel assassinated many ambassadors, Palestinian ambassadors, in France, in Belgium, and other countries. Also Israel committed Sabra and Shatila. Over 5,500 children and women were killed in Sabra Shatila in Lebanon, not by weapons, but by knives and swords. And the continue. 2008, 2012, 2014, and then they come and say, Hamas? It's not Hamas. The obstacle, the only reason this is happening is not Hamas. It is the Israeli military occupation. End the military occupation, everything is ended. Make peace, everything is ended. Because resistance is the right of any people under military occupation. Even though I don't agree with Hamas, and I think that all hostages should be returned, released, Palestinians and Israelis, because we have over 15,000 in Israeli jails. There were 10,000 about a month ago, now there are about 15,000. All hostages should be released, Palestinians and Israelis. So it's not about Hamas. It's about Israeli occupation. Like I proved to you. First, he wants to take Gaza and make it a resort. He wants to take the West Bank and make it an Israeli colony. And then he wants to go to Syria. He already occupied part of Syria. He occupied parts of Lebanon. We offered him security. Go back to your borders, be a good man, respect international law. We all will be friends with him. But no, like I said, the expansions. He said greater Israel. People think about this. He's talking about greater Israel. Greater Israel is expansionism, Zionist expansionism, all the way in the Arab countries. So he can control the oil and the gas and everything, the natural resources. This is what his dream is. His dream is not peace. We already said, our president, since he's been in office 2005, he said, I extend my hand to the Israelis for peace. I think the only one was Prime Minister Rabin, and also another prime minister was jailed by Netanyahu because
Olmert.
Olmert and our president almost had a deal, but because of that, one, they assassinated Rabin, and the other one, they put him in jail. They don't want peace. What else do we have to prove that Israel doesn't want peace? Should we leave our country and our land and say, okay, take it? No, we'll stay.